Welcome back everyone to another very beautiful morning here in the Alpine Mountains. And today starts a brand new chapter here in our gameplay of the new Alpine Farming Expansion. And the reason is the Precision Farming DLC. Now the last video that you guys saw on last Thursday did not include the Precision Farming DLC because, well, it had been recorded before that was released. So today is really our first opportunity to do some gameplay with the Precision Farming DLC installed. And so what I want to do is take the beginning steps, much like I did in my getting started video here on the channel. We're going to make some equipment purchases and we're going to get started taking some soil samples and begin revealing exactly what type of soil is on this map. So if we take a look at our map, of course we already know we own fields 1, 3, and 4, as well as this immediate area surrounding our beginner farm. And this becomes even more clear once I swap over the display. So this is what we have so far, but as of right now, I don't know what type of yields these fields are going to give us moving forward now that we have the Precision Farming DLC. So we need to do some soil samples today. We need to figure out, at least begin to figure out exactly what type of soil this map contains. And that's going to give us an idea of where we want to go in the future. So first things first, let's go ahead and purchase some equipment. First thing we're going to do is come under the vehicles. We're going to go to cars, and this is the XUV from John Deere that we need. $22,000, as I've been doing with all of our equipment, even though we have 1.1 million, which is where we left off in our last video. Even though we have that, I'm simply going to lease everything for now. Now my plan is later on in the gameplay, we're going to start to replace these with purchases of equipment and get rid of these leases. But for right now, we're going to stick with the lease. And we definitely want the 3-point attachment on the back because that is where the Scout is going to go that takes all of our samples. So let's go ahead and lease that. Okay, now we'll back out. Let's go under the tools section and we're going to go over to the miscellaneous tab. Scroll over just a little bit till we find the Scout. 17,000, but of course we're going to be, as much as it pains me right now, we're just going to go ahead and lease this rather than buy it. Just to keep things simple and consistent with the way I've been doing things up to this point. All right, so now that we've got those two, I actually need to come out to the shop. And let's hop into the John Deere. Let's get the Scout attached, and then I'm going to have it come over to the field where we are. All right, there we go. So if you haven't had an opportunity to learn more about the Precision Farming DLC, then I definitely encourage you to watch my Getting Started video here on the channel. All right, for right now, our purposes, we're just simply going to cut right through here because we're trying to save a little time. Now, unfortunately, I cannot collect any samples from a property that I do not own. So these fields, I cannot collect any samples on. And yes, I tried it before filming the Getting Started video because I very much wanted to get a complete map unveiled. But in order to do that, you have to purchase the land. It does make sense, but a little disappointing because I really wanted to unveil what the soil looked like beneath each of these fields. So we're simply going to come over to, in fact, let's go ahead and just get some samples over here as well. Now, if I bring up, all right, let's see what it's going to let me do right here. Now, I'm just going to do this for the sake of completing things, and I'll take, first you need to unfold it. Of course I do. We absolutely need to do that. All right, so you can't really see it, but I've already lowered the tool down. All right, so let's press B. We're going to take some samples. In the bottom left-hand corner, you can see the circle. There we go. So now we've taken some samples there. I'm going to move down just a little bit. And again, this is not area that we're going to be using for farming, but I do want to get an idea of how this is working here on this particular map. In fact, you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, it did not give us the full circle. in that area. There was certain parts of it that it did not do. So that's an interesting turn of events. So in today's video, we're going to solely dedicate it to this singular purpose. We are going to take a bunch of samples, we're going to analyze all of them, and then we're going to get an idea. Let's see, let's do one more down here toward our taco stand. Maybe two more, we'll see. All right, right about in here should be good. We're going to let our machine just zoom in a little bit and watch this bad boy work. Love the animations on this thing. Again, if you haven't had an opportunity to pick it up, the Precision Farming DLC is free to use. So you simply go into the mod hub, whether you're talking online through the FS19 website, or if you're talking about going directly through the game, which is the way that I got it. All right, now we can start to see. Okay, so we didn't get anything really in the area. We got a small piece right over here in the bottom left-hand corner. You can see right over here on the edge is all we got. So you're not going to get literally every square inch of the map showing up here. That's good to know. All right, in fact, let me go ahead and get rid of this. We don't need that at all. So that is exactly the area that we're going to get mapped right here. Let's go ahead and let's see, what can we do? Send the soil samples. Let's go ahead and send those. Okay, we're going to go ahead and send those, but of course that's not going to keep us from continuing on. In fact, let's go ahead and take our first one right about here. Once again, we'll zoom in a little bit and let this guy get to work. So today's video and the soil samples that we're taking today is going to form the basis of how we're going to farm this map moving forward. All right, there we go. We've got our first results. So let's go ahead and pop into precision farming and let's move some things around. Okay, let's see what we've got. All right, so it looks like this area. All right, what is that? You're not going to tell me on this screen, are you? You're going to make me go over to here. There we go. So we got sandy loam, 47%. The actual yield over here is 100%. So what about on field 4? Oh, yikes. Look at this. It tops out the charts. 93% loam. So this, it doesn't get better than field 4 as far as the yield. Now, another funny thing to keep in mind, let's get back onto the map overview screen. So on this screen, normally, this is where you would go and see the growth, the type of plants that you have growing on these particular fields, what type of fertilizer they've had applied, all those sorts of things. But if you notice, we come over to soil composition. Now it says, see precision farming. This is where your fertilizer amount would show up. Same thing down here with the lime. Also says see precision farming. So now this gets much more detailed for us. We're going to need to use this screen much more often. So now, of course, we're not showing any of the types right now in these fields because we haven't taken our samples there yet. But back here we see here is the area of the loam, sand, or soil types. So this makes me excited. I'm kind of thinking maybe this is going to extend down into here. Now, we could very easily come over here and we could look. But I don't want to do that just yet. I want to take some samples and really let it be revealed more in that manner. So let's go ahead and hop out. And let's see. I am going to try. Let's see how far over we can go. And then we'll just work our way up the field like this. All right, so I think we'll take our first one about right here. Now, granted, we've cut off some of the field right there, but we're going to go ahead and get started right here. All right, we'll take our first one here. And like I said, I am going to just simply go straight ahead and we'll work our way through this field. All right, we'll take another one right here. So yeah, this is all of the behind the scenes work that you need to do when you first purchase a field so that you can get some initial data on where you need to go in the future. All right, let's take another one about right there. Should do it. Again, we don't need every square inch covered in the circle overall. We're going to get a great idea regardless. The interesting thing I'm noticing is that the areas outside of the field, which I thought we were going to need to take samples from, it's really not using those. Those are cut off from the sample, so that's a little bit different than what I was expecting. All right, so the final one we'll need here, so I'm going to go ahead and see. Let's see, let's get about right here should do it. And you can see the soils, the samples filling up the cups at the very bottom of the Scout. All right, let's go ahead and send those. And we'll let those be working while we move over. And a little tiny bit of field number 2 now shows up. Which is interesting because you're not allowed to do any samples on land that you don't own. But we did get a little bit of information there. Okay, so now we'll work our way down this side of the field, and then field 4 will be done. Now we already know some basic information. We already know the soil type. In fact, there you go. It just filled in at the bottom of the screen. Takes very little time and also very little money. You notice in the top right hand corner, $300 for soil sample analysis, which is certainly perfectly fine with me. Small price to pay for the information we need. There we go. And let's see, 1, perhaps 2 more should fill out the information we need here on field 4. Let's stop about right here. Should get us information we need. But I like that I'm seeing a lot of the loam soil. The loam soil is where we get our best yields from. So between the combination of the soil sample analysis and what we've already seen by looking at the land, the same screen that you would look for land purchases, we can get a complete picture of exactly what each field. All right, let's go ahead and send these. I'm going to press the Y key to send those soil samples to the lab, and here in just a moment they will pop up on the screen and we'll have a better idea on the map. Once we get to the very end of our owned land, the land that we currently own right now, then we'll simply take our time and we'll look at a complete map of just where we are starting. There you can see in the bottom left hand corner, more information fills in, and I believe that's the loam soil type that shows up in that grayish. All right, there we go. First soil sample taken. And it's probably going to take more, probably, I'm guessing 9 of these on field 3 is what we're going to need, but in my opinion it is well worth it. And of course this is a process that we're going to do moving forward for each and every new field that we purchase. But today we need to do some background work. We need to catch up a little bit. And I wanted you guys to be here for it. This might not seem like all that exciting work that we're doing. I mean, we're driving around fields that we already own. We're not doing any field work per se, generating any income, but rather we're doing the work that is needed in order to gather information that we're going to need in the future. So about right here should be good. Let's let this guy get back to work. All right, excellent. So the next thing I expect to see pop up in the mod hub will be a mod that will, oh wow, I didn't go near far enough over for that. Is a mod that's going to greatly expand the width of this circle that we see in the bottom left-hand corner. Let's see, I still didn't get over far enough. Yikes, this thing is, I mean, just take a look here at where we are on the field. We're nearing halfway on the field. That's a pretty good size sample. All right, there we go. I feel like this is perfect. This is going to be just about perfect. Let's get everything straight. Straight as I can get it anyway. All right, we'll take our first one about right here. But yeah, that is a pretty wide working radius, but no doubt on the mod hub we're going to see a mod that will take a much larger size just to save you some time of having to do, in this case, about 9 of these for this field. Maybe even more, just depending on how much of a perfectionist you are, completionist type deal. For me, this is going to be plenty. It's not going to cover every square inch of the field, but then again, we don't really need it to cover every square inch of the field. We're going to do just fine with the information we're going to have. All right, let's get one there. And actually, as I look in the bottom left-hand corner at our mini-map, I'm seeing that really we could get by without doing another one as we get toward the end, but I'm going to go ahead and do one anyway. Stop about right here should be good. Because frankly, I'm enjoying this. This is more detail added to the game. So this DLC is a lot of fun for me. I love this aspect of the farming. All right, and it looks like this is going to line up perfectly for us to do one more pass through. Let's see, about right. Might as well try to get this as good as I can, since we're going to do an entire row like this. Oh yeah, this should be about. All right, so we'll do our first one about right here. Again, zooming in on this bad boy. Love that. All right, next one right here. I'm telling you, the animations here are underrated. I get caught up in, trying to follow the mini map and to follow the areas that I've already gained samples from. But the animations here of what's going on, this is pretty awesome. And of course, the model is very well done. My computer is, at this point, several years old. I'm running at 1080p, so the graphics are definitely not anything that's going to blow you away. This isn't 4K or anything like that, but nonetheless, this is very well done, even at 1080p. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and I'm going to press the Y key, send those samples off to be analyzed, and now that we're going to move to a different field, because now we're going to move over to field 1, and we're going to take a few samples over here. This isn't a field that we're going to be working. This is entirely for horses, and who knows, maybe a few other things in the future. We might have some sort of storage back here at some point. All right, let's go ahead and lower the equipment. Take our sample. There we go. Might as well hop back here and do one more. Again, not that it's terribly needed, but honestly, I'm just kind of enjoying watching this thing do its work at this point. So this definitely isn't going to be the most exciting gameplay video that we've ever had here on the channel, that's for sure. In fact, oh, look at there, we got a little head. So it looks like you can game the system a little bit with sending those samples off for analysis. I haven't even sent the ones I just did for analysis, but because we already had some that we had sent off, it looks like we are getting the benefit of the doubt, and it's going ahead and opening up that area for us as well. So maybe not exactly how you think the system is going to work, but nonetheless, it's pretty awesome. All right, let's see if we can get one more in here. I'm going to try to snuggle up fairly close to this guy and see what we can do. Let's go ahead and get, yeah, one about right here. So again, why am I doing this? Why am I retrieving these samples on a field that I have no desire or plans to work? Well, the reason is simple. I want to try to ultimately unveil the entire map from a soil sample perspective, and let's just find out what all is under this map, and this will give us a much better idea. And besides, it's also fun. I definitely can see where some people will probably say, no, I don't want anything to do with that. I'm only going to take the minimum number of samples that I have to, and that's certainly understandable. All right, we'll take one more just to sort of fill in this gap right here. Okay, also you notice that the area where the horses are located, we didn't get any information there. So something to keep in mind. Okay, let's go ahead and raise that. So now that is going to take care of, let's see, let's go ahead, let's raise that, send our last soil samples off, and then we're going to take a good look at the map and see what this means for our future. In the meantime, we're simply going to drive back over. We'll hop inside the John Deere. So there's a lot of decisions we're going to have to make moving forward, and one of those is, how are we going to use all of this money we've got right now? We got to figure that out. I've got some ideas, but now that we have this precision farming DLC, I've got some more data I need to collect before I can ultimately make a decision. So let's pull over right in this area. All right, there we go. So it must be done. We paid $400 for those samples. Let's go ahead and hop out. And again, I like this thing. I really, really like this thing. In fact, let's take a couple more screenshots right here. Because why not? I mean, this thing is awesome. All right, so let's take a look at our map and let's see what we've got. Just look at that. Look at the... All right, these are some very nice yields. Let's pop over to this screen and let's see what we've got. Yep, there's the loam soil, that sort of that brownish color. 61% here, very nice yield, 112%. We've already seen field 4 basically maxes out. I imagine max is like 125%, so we're essentially there. We've got a lot of sandy loam here, 47% there, which is not terrible. It's 100%. All right, what about field 2? 104. Okay, so a nice loamy soil. And then here, 110%. So this is a very good yielding field if you want to do that. All right, so field 5, what do we have here? Very nice. A lot of loam there. I'm not seeing very much clay. Where did I see some? Yeah, there we go. There was some silty clay on field 2, which certainly does not hurt the yield a whole lot, but I haven't seen very much of that. Okay, 108% yield there, 109. So these are very good yielding fields. Now, let's get down into the areas where I'm looking to expand in the future. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, very nice. Very nice. A lot of loam soil here. Okay, sandy loam there. What about over here? Okay, still very good. So field 9 is the least of these 3, but still, we're above 100%, which is the main thing. Ooh, here we go. That's not good. A lot of loamy sand here, I'm guessing, on field 11 as well. Yeah, there's still a good percentage. Not quite as high, but we're right at 100%, just a little bit under it. Oh, and then as we move around, okay, a lot of loamy sand here in as we approach the middle portion of the map, at least from the perspective of these pre-made fields. All right, what about 14? Okay, we're back in pretty good shape. A lot of sandy loam. Yep, now we get back into the sand, so it drops down. Okay, so all of these are not bad. By far and away, 8, 9, and 10 have seemed to be the best so far, at least 8 and 10 anyway. So you get over here to 14, not bad. 17, not bad, but not spectacular. I mean, nothing really has touched field number 4 to this point. What about this area right here? 105, so still, field 4 is the place to be right now. Ooh, and this is not good. Field 18, no good. 19, pretty much normal. 20, normal. 21 and 22. I mean, again, not bad, certainly, but nothing outstanding. All right, what about 25? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 25 is where we want to be. What about 24? Okay, it's about average. 23 is good. And, of course, it includes quite a bit of land. But 25 is where we need to be. Look at that. Almost entirely loamy soil. They're very good. So it looks like where you want to be as far as soil goes. You don't want any sand. If you can get out of the loamy sand, then you don't want it. The clay doesn't seem to really help anything, but it doesn't really seem to hurt very much either, as far as I can tell. I could be wrong. I just haven't seen very much of it. But loam is where you want. That's going to give you the nice properties and, of course, the wonderful yield. Sandy loam is not bad, but, of course, not quite as good as the pure loamy soil either. What about over in this area? 110%, 115? Okay. I like that. And of course, a lot of this is going to be unusable. But now this has really opened my eyes. Field number 25 has my attention right now. And so as we move forward in our upcoming videos, I've already told you guys really where I want to go from here is I want to try to get into the silage business, meaning that we're going to be cutting a lot of grass. We're going to convert that into silage using a mod that I've got. It will simplify things for us rather than having to use more of the bunker system, which adds some complication to it. A lot of fun as well, but it will take some extra time. So we're going to use a mod that will convert that grass and or hay into silage. But this is going to give me some idea as to what's the best bang for our buck. Which fields should we be looking at? And right now, field 25 is where we need to be. Now, I haven't been over to visit field 25, so I don't know how flat it is versus maybe rolling terrain. So we're going to have some decisions to make coming up. But as far as our work today, we've gotten a lot done. This is where we need to be. But moving forward, we already have, if we hop over here, we already have our lime. We've got our trailer full of lime that can spread, and it's what I've been using on field 3 up until this point. Now, you really don't have to worry about that on the grass fields, and I'll see how that materializes as we work our way forward. But here's our lime spreader, the exact same one that I showed you guys in the getting started video for precision farming. So this is the exact same one. We've already got that, but now I'm going to have to purchase an additional fertilizer to take care of the pH. Because, again, for those of you who may not have seen that video yet, there's a lot going on in the Precision Farming DLC. We just scratched the surface by beginning to lay out what the soil looks like underneath our map currently. We've got a lot of great soil up in here. There's the loamy soil there. That's what we want. But we've already seen that as we start to progress, we're going to get less and less of that, and we're going to get some of the less desirable types of soil until we get over here to particularly field number 25. So as we move into like the pHs, we're going to have to get into balancing that out. And we're going to balance out the pH with a combination of manure, slurry, and the store-bought fertilizer, the chemical fertilizer that we can purchase that way. So we're going to need to purchase the fertilizer spreader for that. Also, possibly a slurry spreader as well, because I have not sold off any of our slurry from the cows. I simply haven't gotten to it. I've been trying to keep our manure sold off as best I can, but the slurry I have not touched. So you can see right now this is the max. 800,000 is the maximum slurry, so we've got plenty of that to go ahead and use. But as we come back to the precision farming, we're going to have to start balancing out the pH in order to maximize the yield, and then also the nitrogen. Oh, excuse me, I misspoke on that. The pH is going to be dealt with the lime. I'm sorry, I got them backwards. So the pH is going to be dealt with the lime spreader. And then the nitrogen content is where the fertilizer comes in, whether it's manure, slurry, or the store-bought. So my mistake there. I apologize for that. I got a little ahead of myself on that. And then, of course, moving forward, we're going to be able to see the yields, but we haven't quite gotten to that point just yet. So again, we have just opened up a brand new world here on the map. And as we move forward, in the next video, we're going to be making some purchases of some new land, some new equipment, and some new adventures. But that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and stick around for more Alpine Farming.